Welcome back, Sethbling here, and today Mojang released Minecraft Snapshot 14W30A, and as you can see, it's got, well, some pretty cool new features. We've got the new banners here. There's also some extremely good kind of optimizations with the rendering engine, so that the frame rate that people are getting is much, much higher. And there's some other stuff too that I'll show you that is also extremely cool. So let's start with the banners though. They're definitely the most flashy thing in the snapshot. So if I go down into this crafting table, this is how you craft a banner. You can craft a banner of any color of wool. And so here's a cyan banner because I use cyan wool. Now you can do some cool things with patterns. So I've got some dye in my inventory. There's various different patterns that you can do with the dye, and you can see on the right hand side of the crafting table what's going to come out of this. So I can do like a spike, or can I do, yeah, I can do a stripe through the middle. There's all kinds, and you can use different colors of dye. There's like, there's one that's you can get a kind of several spikes. One of my favorites is actually the gradient, which you do like this, and so you get stuff like that. But there's a lot of possibilities. You can also put stuff like creeper heads in here, and you can dye it, and you can see it, what it gets over there. Very, very cool. You can actually get creeper heads in survival, and I'll go over that in a little bit. They're obtainable in survival, and that's really awesome as well. So here are just some samples of the different banners you can get. Get the cross and the skull and crossbones, and creeper, and here's a brick pattern. This is an oxeye daisy. You can put them in item frames, and that looks kind of funny. You can also, if I push this button, let's go to F5 mode, I'll push the button here and I'll get a creeper banner on my head. You can't put it on your head by default. If I take it off, you'll notice I can't put it on. But using replace item, you can get it onto a player's head, and it looks pretty silly. But that'd be really good for capture the flag if you wanted to make a like kind of custom capture the flag map. Let's see some other new changes. If you get a player head, here's Etho's head. You now see the player's skin in your inventory on the player head, and that's really cool. Also, it looks pretty silly if you put it on top of the banner with the skull and crossbones. It's like an Etho and crossbones, which is pretty funny. And if you put it on your head, this is a new feature which I think is really, really cool. I think this is the way they should have done it initially. But basically, previously the outer layers of the skin didn't come along with the head. So, for instance, Etho's mask, you would not be seeing Etho's mask, and you would be seeing my mustache. So it completely overrides both layers of the head when you put it on, which I think makes it a lot cooler. You got some really, really weird stuff before where you'd have like a mustache on top of a, I don't know, just, it was weird. Anyway, so that's new, and that's very cool. And what else do I have in here? Anything interesting? Not particularly. So let's go over here. Let me grab some spawn eggs. I already got some in my inventory, actually. Let's grab a zombie. Yeah, that should be good. Okay, so let's get a creeper here. One new feature which they added is you can actually use the summon command to get lightning. So let's summon a lightning bolt. Bam. The creeper's on fire. But I think he will survive. Last time I did this, he survived. And yeah, okay. So let's spawn in some creepers. Here's some skeletons. Let's get in some zombies. Let me summon a skeleton with skeleton type 1. So this is a wither skeleton. Let me get another one. And okay. So I'm gonna go to game mode 0. And so when the whoops. It didn't work quite like I wanted. Let's try this again. Okay, hold on. So I was trying to get the creeper to explode, but another creeper exploded first, and it was kind of a problem. So let's just, I guess, okay, let's summon a lightning bolt. Again, there we go. And then let's get some wither skeletons. This is kind of silly. All right, let's try this again. I'm gonna put a creeper over here, and then I'll go to game mode 0 right on top of this guy, so he should explode very first thing. All right, so I died. Great, perfect. That's what I wanted. now let's respawn and let's take a look on the ground. You can see there's like a little floating creeper head, a little floating zombie head, wither skull. The skeleton skulls are in my inventory already. So this is a way to actually obtain these items in vanilla Minecraft in survival. And you don't need any commands to get those items anymore. It's obviously pretty difficult. Getting a lightning creeper requires quite a bit of luck, and it's just not easy. But I'm sure we'll start to see mob trap designs come up, which like sort out the creepers and put them above ground and spread them out and stuff like that. So definitely a lot of room for creativity for people there. Yeah, so I'm pretty happy with that feature. I think that's really cool. It's definitely difficult to pull off. Okay, then the last thing I want to show is the optimization, basically the performance optimization. So let's look at my frames per second right now. 40, 43, 34. Now keep in mind that I'm recording this video, which means a lot of my processor power is going to taking the video and putting it onto the disk. So I'm getting a lower frame rate than I normally would. If normally I would look around, before I started recording I was getting about, I think like 60 to 100 frames per second. I'm not sure, I don't remember. But let's look straight down and you'll notice the frame rate goes way up. And if I look straight up, it's very similar. Should go, well, it's up a bit at least. And so the new feature that they added is basically there's a bunch of caves underground, and usually the game renders all those caves. But with the new snapshot, it doesn't render caves if they're not visible. And so if you're looking up, obviously the caves aren't in your field of view, so it's not going to render them. And similarly, if you're looking down, it's just not rendering the cave, so it just has to render the grass, and the frame rate can get quite high, 200, 184, 142. Anyway, let's actually go ahead and let's go into this world titled Performance. So here we are on 14W30A. Let me actually give the chunks a little bit to load, and then we'll check back. Alright, all the chunks have loaded now, and we're seeing a pretty similar performance in this world to the one in the previous world, about 30 frames per second. And when I look down, it's shooting way up, 250. When I look straight up, 150, something like that. Okay, so now let's go back to the previous snapshot, 14W29A or 29B, and let's compare. Alright, so I've loaded up 14W29B, and I loaded all the chunks on this world. You'll see my frame rate is about 22, 24, and when I look down, it stays the same. When I look up, I guess it goes up maybe a little bit. I don't know. It's a little bit hard to tell, but yeah. So the frame rate is better in 30A in the new snapshot, but you know, even when looking horizontally. But when you're not looking straight like to the side, it's a huge difference. And there's also just less choppiness in general in the new snapshot. And keep in mind, that I am recording. But yeah, so that's kind of a huge performance increase. And if you've had problems running Minecraft in the past, you might try out the new snapshot and just see if it works better for you. I think it's a really it's very good optimization on Mojang's part, and I'm really glad that they're working on that. A lot of people have been complaining that they can't play Minecraft anymore because the frame rate gets so bad, but now hopefully a lot of people will be able to. So that's about all there is for the snapshots. If you want to see the changelog, there's a link in the video description. Otherwise, thanks for watching.